Every single day, every minute, every moment, you have a choice. Maybe not a choice about everything that happens around you, but a choice about the space within yourself from which you respond. And that choice matters more than people realize. Because again and again, we are choosing. Will I live from fear, conditioning, and old patterns? Or will I live from essence? Will I decide from the part of me that's trying to keep me safe at all cost? Or from the part of me who knows who I truly am? That is the choice. And that choice doesn't just shape your life. I believe what it also does is it shapes the collective. Hey everyone, my name is Amrai and I hold the space of this channel, Authenticitate Yourself, in service to you in this time of change. And I want to start off by saying what I share with you today is not about making the ego wrong. It's not about making the ego evil. The ego is often trying to protect you. It learns from the past, it scans for danger, it predicts the future, and it tries to prevent pain before it happens. Now, this is how I see it, and I'm not the only one who sees it this way. You can find similar ideas in different therapeutic approaches. For example, internal family systems. It's a method that works with different inner parts, the psyche. It speaks about protective parts that try to keep us safe. And cognitive behavioral therapy looks at how our thoughts and beliefs shape our emotions, behaviors, and how our interpretation of our thoughts and beliefs influence the way we feel and respond. So it's not about fighting your ego. It's about recognizing that the part of you that wants to protect you is not always the part of you that knows best how to lead your life. Because protection and truth are not always the same thing. The ego says, stay small, don't speak. Sometimes it says, don't disappoint anyone, or more often than not, it says, what if it goes wrong? And finally, I'm sure this sounds familiar to some of you. Sometimes this is just not who you are. When in reality, it's only a belief system, an old program, a learned strategy, a limiting belief you once have needed, but you may have actually outgrown. And if you keep choosing from those old beliefs, you're going to spend years living inside a version of yourself that was built for survival, but not for fullness. That is the shadow side of things. You may look responsible, you may look adapted, and from the outside, you may look successful. But on the inside, you feel the quiet pain of not fully being yourself. And this is why I believe the conscious choice of choosing the space inside yourself from which you respond is so important. Because when you choose from essence, something begins to change. When you choose from essence, you stop letting your whole life be dictated by the past. You stop treating old fear as truth. You stop obeying every limiting belief as if it were reality. And you begin to ask a different question. What is true for me now? What is aligned for me now? What would I choose if I trusted who I really am? And this is a really biggie, this last one. What would I actually choose if I trusted who I really am? Because one of the things I learned in the Salvador teachings is that a conscious decision as such are already immensely powerful. However, here it comes. Conscious decisions that are taken in alignment with our core essence are directional because they invite into our lives whatever supports that conscious decision. And that is why deciding from the space of your essence matters in ordinary life. Because choosing from essence doesn't just sound spiritual, it becomes practical. It changes the relationships you stay in, it changes the words you speak, it changes the opportunities you say yes to, and it changes the opportunities you finally say no to. The way you use your gifts, the way you hold your energy, the way you stop betraying yourself for approval of other people. And over time, that changes everything. You become more honest, more clear, more peaceful, more available for your actual life. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you no longer constantly abandon yourself inside it. And to me, that is where abundance really begins. Not abundance as a certain result, but abundance as alignment. Because my conviction is we are not small accidental beings, random bunches of DNA. I believe we are divine beings. And I believe that when a human being truly chooses and lives from his essence, life can finally meet that person in a fuller way. Their gifts can come forward. Their real nature can come forward. Their own authentic contribution to the collective field can come forward. Now, what exactly does living from your essence mean? This is a question that I've reflected on for many years. And of all the perspectives I've encountered, the Salvador teachings offer the answer that resonates most deeply within me. In these teachings, each person carries a unique essence, and with it, a unique gift. And when we truly live from that essence, we don't only become more ourselves, we also give something real and valuable to the collective. By contrast, scarcity, competition pulls us away from that essence, that truth, and keeps our natural unfolding blocked. And that brings me to the second point, because this choice is not only personal, it's collective. Every time you choose from essence instead of from fear, you're not only changing your own life, you are changing what you bring into the collective field around you. It becomes less reactive, less controlling, less driven by unconscious pain, and that means you spread less distortion. Instead, you bring more truth, more calm, more integrity, more coherence, more permission for other people to be real too. Now, in my last video, Stop Feeding Fear into the Collective, I spoke about how each of us is constantly feeding our individual energies into the pool of collective consciousness. And I spoke about how living in alignment with our essence brings a clearer, healthier, more truthful contribution into that field, whereas living from fear, scarcity, competition adds distortion and blockage to it. This is one of the deepest reasons why I care so much about this work, because I do not believe that your essence is selfish, nor do I believe that living in alignment with your essence is selfish. I think that is one of the greatest misunderstandings. Many people are afraid that if they really live their truth, they would hurt others or disappoint others or even disturb the balance around them. But I actually believe the opposite is the case. I believe that what is truly essence doesn't move against life. It moves with life. Because I believe life, our universe, tends toward harmony, coherence, and deeper order. And one of the things I love in the Salvador teachings is the idea that everything is deeply interconnected and ultimately held within a greater harmony. So to me, this is not only a spiritual idea, because other fields of science also reflect this in their own language. For example, ecology shows us that no living system exists in isolation, and even the human body only works because many different systems cooperate with each other. Or to give you another example, in complex system science, it's a very specific field of science, will tell you that when many connected parts interact, order can arise from within that connection. Like when a flock of birds moves in beautiful coordination, even without one single bird directing the whole. Or ants, think of an ant colony, where countless small interactions create an organized whole. So when you live from essence, you're not breaking harmony, you're participating in it. And if every human being were to live more deeply from essence, I genuinely believe that human life on earth would be different. It would begin to organize itself differently. Not perfectly, not overnight, but differently. With more truth, more coherence, more responsibility, more creativity, with more respect for difference, and more courage to bring and share our real gifts. More willingness to stop living from inherited fear. That is the world I believe is possible. Not because people become identical, but because they become real. And maybe that is the invitation today. Not to become someone else, not to become more impressive, not to become more spiritually looking, but to become honest about the space from which you're choosing, because you do have a choice. Today, this moment, this minute, you can choose from the old program, or you can choose from essence. You can choose from the voice that was shaped by fear, or from the deeper truth that has been waiting underneath it all. And no, you may not do it perfectly, but none of us do. But every moment that you choose essence, even a little bit more, you reclaim a little bit more of your life. And when we do that, we not only heal individually, we become a service to the whole. So the question is not, what do I want? The deeper question is, from which space am I choosing? Because your life will grow in the direction of that answer. You have a choice, and your choice matters for your own life and for all of us. If this message resonated with you, and if you feel that it's time to choose from a deeper, truer place within yourself, and follow this space for more reflection, guidance, and inspiration. If you would like to support this work, I'd be grateful if you liked the video and subscribe to this channel. And if there's someone in your life, someone who needs to hear this message right now, share it with them, because the world needs more human beings who are willing to live from their essence. Big love, Amrai.